what kind of life it was for me coming here. And as I'm setting up my podcast here, excuse me, I have to set it up a certain way here. I have too many gadgets in one little brain of mine. What was it like? What kind of things was asked me? I remember going and telling my mom and dad, "Hey, I'm coming to the Philippines." And they said, "Why would you want to do that?" Dad said, "I was here during World War II. Why would you come to the Philippines?" I said, "Well, there's a couple main reasons. I want to kind of get out of the States, but I kind of want to find someone. I'm not really happy with the current environment here with the situation in dating and things like that, and I wanted to find someone." My father says, "Yeah, they're beautiful girls there. It's a beautiful place." He says, "Why would you leave here?" And I said, "Well, that's exactly the reason why is because no, I'm getting up in age like you guys are, and I'm lonely, and you know, I can't really seem to find the needle in the haystack, you could say." And he says, "What is wrong with you? Why would you do that?" I remember my mother saying, "What is wrong with you?" Not just my mother, co-workers and people that work with me on the job, and people that I was associated with, my friends would say, "What is wrong with you? Why would you think about coming there? Are you coming back? Right? You okay? Are you mentally okay?" My mom would say, "You mentally okay? Why would you leave the beautiful place, United States? You have a good job. You're okay. You're surviving. And why would you leave?" "Well, I'm going to leave probably in a year. Nobody else knows. Just a few of my friends." And, "Well, how are your friends taking it?" Mom asked. I said, "Well, they're not taking it too well. That's third world country," they said. "Why would you go there? Why don't you stay here?" I said, "A couple of guys said they'd pay me to stay." And Dad said, "I'll give you money to stay if you just stay. There's no reason." Well, I didn't listen to my parents. I went ahead and saved whatever, uh, money I could scrape up. And he said, "I'll never forget this. Is your life okay, son?" I'll never forget that. As we got into a little argument, "Is your life okay, son?" I said, "My life is fine, Dad. My life is doing very well, and I'm very happy. I'm very contented, but I'm just lonely, and I need someone in my life." And I found someone, and I'm basically going to go there and live there. It's not saying I can't come back to the States, and I will, and I want to, and we'll probably come back here. But as you know, life works out a certain way, and we sometimes don't really think about the reasons why. And it was like I was really scared. I sold everything that I had, and it was very scary for me. What was it like for me? I was scared. My personality was like, I'm not really quite sure if I could um, come here and maintain a life, meaning if I had enough money. I knew that I was living on a certain amount in the U.S., and I knew it was 50 to dollar rate, and I could live on probably half of what I was making. And at that time, it was correct, but there was a few things that kind of I had the rose-colored glasses on. I really didn't take into consideration. I did not think about. And looking at it now, and I didn't realize this till after a year or two when I was here, I had to start over. In the United States of America, I had a place I was living. I was living electric, everything furnished, cable TV, water, internet, uh, everything that I would need for $350 a month. And I come here and I had to start all over. I had no tables, no chairs. Of course, my wife didn't have anything. She's living in a small nipa hut, and she had a bed and she had a few pieces of furniture that were very small, and it was clean as a whistle in there. And her and I were staying there. And I remember we need tables and chairs. We need a few things that are something that you got to survive with. You need plates, and they had plates, but they were limited on what they had. Uh, Towels and sheets and just the things that you would need to survive on in life. You kind of need those things there. So when I had a plan to come in here. And even though my mom and dad would say, "Don't go, I'll give you money. Don't go. Are you coming back? When are you coming back? You feeling well? Is your health okay? Are you mentally all right?" My mother asked me, I'll never forget this. Are you mentally stable, son? What's going on? And in her mind, even though my father's been here, and he understood exactly, and he knew exactly what the reason why I wanted to come here. My father knew exactly. And because my mother's brother married a Filipina, and that's what really got me into art. I said, Uncle Bud, Mom. Oh yeah, yeah, Uncle Bud, and wife. Yeah, me. Yeah, I said me. Uh-huh. Well, that's the reason why I'm going. Oh, okay. Oh, I see. But you're coming back, right? When you coming back? Are you going to stay? Are you going to just go pick her up and bring her back? I said, Mom, we can't do that. It takes a while. Are you going to come back? You coming back? You coming back? When you coming back? I'll pay you. I'll pay you. Come back. I said, Mom, I'll be back. All right, I'll be back. And the sad thing to say, I did not get back in time for my mama. She passed, and it was heartbreaking for me. But I had a place there in U.S. I had a place here. We had a place here. The first place, I'll never forget this. First place we were living okay, but realized in the back of the property their septic was not really the best in the world. And as you know, septics here are really not the best in the world. They just kind of do what they can do with the best they have. And as I'm walking out there, I says, "There's all kinds of feces on the ground out there." And she goes, "Yeah." I said, "Well, I can't live like this." She goes, "I know. I did not know that." So apparently, the German that owned the property, which we thought would be kind of cool, a nice, fairly nice place. So we ended up moving to another place within a week. We found another place, and we paid $100 a month. And it was an attorney friend of mine had a place. It came open. Is what happened. And we ended up going there, and it had a bed upstairs for in each of the two bedrooms that it had. So we had a bed for a while there. When I first came here, I had no bed. I can't bring a bed. But I mean, I tried to bring a blow up bed, and it kind of they wouldn't let me get it through customs. I had it in a suitcase. That thing weighed a lot of. I mean, I paid like $80 for that thing, and it was really heavy. It's one of those really nice ones, you know. And they wouldn't let me take it through customs. Said you can't bring it, sir. I said, you can't. What is in this thing? I said, it's a blow up bed. Oh, you can't bring this. Why not? Everybody brings tools and motorcycle parts. Sir, you cannot bring it. That's all I'm going to tell you. I said, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so. And that time I forget who I was flying to JFK, but they wouldn't let me put it on the plane. But, you know, buying all things new. So we had to go buy tables and chairs and blankets and sheets and all the things that has to do with household. And so you add all that money up. Now I had all that in the U.S. When I sold everything. I mean, should I have kept my vehicle, my things that I had there? Possibly yes. I should have probably kept a car. Probably should have kept my RV. Probably should have kept some of the things that I had, and not necessarily sold it. But I did. I sold everything because my mind is get out of Dodge. Well, 7 years later, I regret that thought. I regret that thought. Even Ruth, she said, I'd like to go back there and go get an RV. I said, yeah, now we got to buy one. So you're sleeping on the floor for a while here, and it's sort of like this. I want to say living in the Philippines is like a cowboy-like adventure. You have to have that cowboy-like attitude, and I'm talking cowboy-like. Sleeping on the floor, sleeping when there's karaoke going on, sleeping, same as wolves howling all night, having that feeling of cowboy atmosphere because you never know what you're going to be entailed with an hour from now or 5 hours from now. For an example, they could be playing karaoke. Next thing you know, a guy at 3 a.m. keep revving up his motorcycle because he's going to work and he's got that thing revved up so loud you think the motor's going to blow. But they rev them up like that. And I don't know why, but they just do. And horns honking and people talking and partying and drinking. And do they do it every night? I don't know, 2, 3 nights a week. And no matter where you go, I've lived in four places here in the Philippines. Every place was exactly the same. I did a mistake. I lived across from a basketball court. Oh boy, I did not know they play basketball at 4 or 5 a.m. Yeah, they play basketball at 4 or 5 a.m. They're bouncing the ball out there at 4 or 5 a.m. And there goes my sleep. So why am I tired all the time? Well, you kind of have an idea. The reason I'm tired is karaoke last night was playing so loud, I had everything buttoned up. I went in a room and turned on the air con. It was so quiet in there, and I went to sleep because I'm so tired. But then again, this morning the horns are honking, and an ambulance come by. Or it's really not an ambulance. It's people. You can actually have horns that sound like an ambulance is here. You can have all that stuff, and they don't. It's not like in the States where you're not allowed to have it. They have it here. But it was you have to have that cowboy-like attitude in living like that. You got to have the cowboy-like attitude that you can actually uh, make it through any given situation, and no matter what's in front of you. Excuse me a minute. This thing has gone offline here, and I hate this. So that's what happens, and you think about it. Um, they have like it smells here sometimes. And when I first got here, it was getting around was a problem for me. Getting down the street, going down the road, uh, trying to find that taxi. I was not accustomed to. Sure, I've been to Hong Kong, I've been to Tokyo. It's a different world here when you get to Asia and you get in the Philippines. It's really different. They didn't have tuk-tuks here. Now they have them, but at that time they didn't have tuk-tuks. They had taxis and cars, regular cars, but you had to be careful with those guys. It was the time I came was during the bullet scare. If everybody remembers that story, the bullet scare, you can kind of understand what I'm talking about. There was a lot of things going on here in the Philippines that particular time when I first came here, but I had to get adjusted to it. I had to get adjusted to the smells and to the rain and to the food and to getting around. And then even to this day, we still, even Ruth was telling me last night, I want different food. We can't keep eating this rice, this continually killing us. Recently, we found out that the rice we've been getting was luckily fine from what we can tell. But the rice that the family's been buying, they found it has arsenic in it. So they've had to change their diets. And the reason they found it had arsenic in it, there was a thing that came out, be careful on eating too much white rice. And it had arsenic. Now, why arsenic would be in it? Well, I got to thinking about it, so I did research on it because, as you guys know, I have Tom and Ruth Healthy Lifestyle channel. And the arsenic, it comes from the sewage, from the mountains, and from animals, and from things that go in the rivers and the streams. And so it goes down in the rice fields and it just lingers down there with all the other things. And so, and the chemicals and the runoffs and the weed killers and the pesticides and the fertilizer and all that stuff, it rolls down off these mountains and go into these fields here and all over the Philippines, that it's laden with arsenic. It's not high traces amounts, but a large consumption of rice. Even even the government says the consumption of rice should be kept to a minimum at this amount. They tell people to eat, but the problem is if you don't have any kind of meat or any kind of fish or any kind of something to eat with that, or some kind of vegetable, you're kind of eating just pure carbs, and you're going to be hungry in an hour anyway. So they use that to fill up their belly, which bloats their belly, which causes gastrointestinal problems, constipation, and all the other issues. So we found that out recently, and so I limit it. Now I'm on the black rice. We're buying our rice from Vietnam, is where we're getting our rice from now, and it's a special order in that we order it in, and it's special. We pay a little bit more money than somebody would off the street for the rice, but it gives us availability that we can have a black rice and some Vietnam rice. And I have to tell you, I don't know what they do to the rice there in Vietnam, but it's enriched. It's not as sticky, as starchy. It has good flavor. It's whiter, cleaner rice. It has a distinct, different flavor. It kind of reminds me of jasmine rice, basmati rice, which is some of the best rices. I have a video coming up I'm going to put on Healthy Lifestyle. It's going to give all the details of how rice affects you as a human. 22 teaspoons of sugar and 1 cup of rice as your body digests it. That's the reason there's so many diabetics here. So my mom and dad said, "What is wrong with you? Why are you coming here? And why did you sell everything you had to sell before coming here?" And so I had to really talk to my mom and dad and ensure them that I was going to be okay, and that I'm a grown man, in which they already knew that. But then again, too, as you know, being parents, we often wonder about my children, your children, and everything about them. And I even worry about my children. RR is my basically my only child left because I lost two children during the COVID situation. One was in an accident, a boating accident. The other one passed because of the COVID situation. So two boys, and so RR is my last baby. So I'm very protective of her, and I think anybody should be of the children. She's mine, and she's always going to be my girl. As my wife is going to always be my wife. We are looking at maybe going back to states, and I will have to have a do-over there too. And how much is that going to cost? So we're pres- presently trying to save for that and get accustomed to what it might cost us to get started again. And that's the reason we were looking at the going back into an RV for buying an RV for an X amount of dollars, whatever that may be. Even if you spend $5,000 or $10,000 on something or $20,000, what can you get, right? Well, you know what? It comes ready made with all the utensils, all the plates, in some cases sheets. You still have to buy stuff, but it comes all together for all the coffee pots, all the things that matter: stove, microwave, convection oven, TVs, aircon. All is all attached into one. And if I was to go there and purchase all that, it will cost me thousands of dollars, even though it's still going to cost me thousands, but I could be a house on wheels. Where here, you come to the Philippines, you have to do a start over. Now, we recently have a couple of Americans that reached out to me since after talking to Mr. Wallace yesterday, coming to the Philippines. Mr. Wallace went through 135,000. His pension was $1,500 a month. He found himself saying that $1,500 a month is not going to be a very good savings for me. So he found himself, he spent all this money, and now he's saving up money through his $1,500 a month to get a plane ticket back. Now, he owns a house. It's paid for in U.S. The taxes are paid. Everything is paid on that house. He left money in an account there for taxes. Thank goodness he did, he said. That was his lifesaver that saved his house. That he still had to pay the taxes on the house and the general upkeep, but, you know, he has a family member kind of keep an eye on the yard and all that stuff. But here you go. When you leave the USA, you might not really need to cut the cord with everything you have unless you have no family there. If you have no family and no concern there, man, I tell you what, sky's the limit. You live anywhere in the world and you have no care in the world. But if you have family and or contacts and or your passport, some people said, I want to relieve my passport. I don't want to have anything to do with the country. Well, I said, well, go for it then. Become a citizen of wherever you live. That would be a smart thing for you. If you're not happy with it, go do whatever you need to do to make yourself happy. Now, other people would say, I would never do that because they fought in Vietnam, they fought in the war. Just like my friend that I just talked to, World War II vet, 80 something, 84, 85 years old. He said that he's would rather spend here, but still spend time in the States because States has the needs that he will need, even though in his mind he's not old. And maybe need a doctor there because his experiences here has not been very good at Luke's, St. Luke's, and things like that. He was telling me. He didn't go in detail, but he told me that his idea now is to kind of think about that a little bit more in depth and think about heading back to the States. Now, he has a daughter, he said there, and he can go back to the States and enjoy his life with his family member. But when you sell everything that you own and you have nothing there, you have no attachments there other than maybe your Social Security, which, you know, thank goodness for that, right? uh, and other things, maybe banking or something like that, but there's got to be some family somewhere along the lines. There's got to be someone has to have brothers and cousins and aunts and uncles that are still alive, grandmas, grandfathers, uh, and first and second cousins that are still around. So when you leave like that, you just leave cold turkey. Well, that was my idea, and I decided it was probably not the smartest idea for me. I should have took the time and stayed in the States and just brought the girls there. I would have saved. I would have probably saved $60,000 to $70,000. Well, I know I would have saved this house and that house and the land. So how much is that? 30,000 right there. So I would have saved that for sure. And the cars of 10,000, that's 40,000 right there. And all the other stuff I had to buy, the furniture I'm sitting on, the fridge I had to buy, the air cons, the TVs, and we've gone through multiple TVs, the laptops. I haven't got rid of my laptops. I brought one with me the first time when I decided I was going to live here, and I stayed here for a time. Then I went back to the States and sold everything, and that took me a process of a few months there. And so think about before you do is all I'm trying to say. And then if you decide to do, you just do. And that makes you happy, that makes you happy. But I want to thank everybody for watching my videos. Thank you so much for always coming on the channels. And thank you for always being there with us. God bless everybody. And thank you so much.